Well, guys, welcome back. I should say, ladies and gentlemen. Well, here's the thing. Decisions are probably one of the most important things in life to be able to make. Now, really, there's a couple of scenarios. One scenario is that I can make decisions, but I don't choose to make them. So I'm allowing other people to make the decisions and sometimes take the steering wheel, if you may. So there's being able to make a decision, like a leader. There's allowing other people to make decisions, which is a sign of being humble. There we go. What would you like to do? And then there's recognizing what other people are. Some people are decision makers and some people are not. And so through this process, I want you to be able to recognize who you are, who other people are, and hopefully if we can, get you to a point that you'd like to become a leader in business, in life, in family, being able to make decisions. I want to stress how important that is. And I'll be going through some examples of how to test other people. So, let's start with making a decision. What does that mean, making a decision? Make a decision. Well, the word make is to create. I'm making something. So, if I am here on this earth, and one of the things that gives me the most joy, and some might even say is the reason that we're here, is to create. Well then, when you create a decision, that is actually one of the most important things in life, to be able to make a decision. You're literally creating a decision, a decisive way to take when there could be millions of scenarios. There could be an infinite amount of options, but to make or create a decision, to create a pathway, is the literal reason that we're here on this earth. So do not take decision making lightly. So, I even wrote down here, if you're not making, there's only one other option. You're being passive. Until you start forging a path. So, the decision itself is actually the vision. I spoke about this. There's millions of scenarios, infinite scenarios. Some things that you might seem like there's only two scenarios, so I have to make a decision this way or that way. When you go to McDonald's, it's like, however many options. So you're making a decision. But usually in life, there could be an infinite amount of possibilities. So it's a beautiful thing. When you make that decision, you pick one. And you're cutting the rest. Decision is division. To divide everything else and pick one option. Or a decision could be multiple options. Now, we talked about creation as meaning. Literally, the reason that we're here is to create, to make a decision. And when you create something, that is the first creative act in any outcome. In any outcome, if I'm making a decision, I'm choosing an act to first create an outcome. And clarity, of course, is power. Decisiveness unlocks momentum. It sure does. You know, with clarity, sometimes people, you know, we're going to talk about this a little bit over here, but some people need clarity to be able to get excited, to be able to move forward, to get out of bed. You know, it's like, well, what am I doing? You know? So there's a lot of power in making a decision. Now, here's a concept that I want you guys to understand. In every part of life, there's the idea, the thought, right? And then you take the action to make it happen. And most of the successful people that I know would maybe think for 20, 30 minutes, maybe think for 45 minutes, and then spend 15 minutes working, right? Or taking the action. But often in life, this is what happens. There's the idea, you have to make a decision, right? But the decision's on the other side of something unknown. So this is, a lot of entrepreneurs will understand this. You might start a business without knowing, right? There's an unknown in the middle, without knowing the exact next decision. So it's like walking through tall weeds or grass, and you don't really know, but you're still moving forward. So you've made a decision to at least move forward. So I want you to think about that in scenarios in life, but certainly in business. You can still make a decision having a general idea or as close of a formed idea as you can think of, to then move forward into some unknown, knowing at the end of that you will have a decision, you will have the decision made. And this is where a lot of people can't do that, because they need to have decisiveness, which unlocks momentum for them. They need that decisiveness. They need the decision before they can move forward. And in some scenarios, there's an unknown period there. So that's why a lot of people are not successful in business, because they can't go like, hang on. So going on a road trip, barely any idea where you're going. We'll figure it out. Actually, that's a really good thing to reprogram the brain. Go on a road trip, go on a trip somewhere overseas. Anyway, just, where are we going tonight? I don't know. And this is like not just like going out for dinner, like figuring out where you're going to go out for dinner. This is like going somewhere far away, like any business would be. You know, when I started in sales, I was 18, but I remember every time towards success. Actually, it happened every time. So quick story. I was one of the biggest door-to-door sales guys in Australia when I was like 18. However, for the first 3 months, there was an unknown period. I didn't know how to sell. I didn't know the product. There was a lot that I didn't know. I didn't know how to close people. I didn't know how to ask for the business. I didn't know how to just say, hey, would you go and grab your ID? I'll wait here. And be silent. By the way, that's Sales 101. Next person to speak loses. So, this concept. When I started door-to-door sales, first 3 months, I wanted to quit. I spoke to my manager, said, hey, listen, some other things, this and this, I couldn't figure it out. I wanted to quit, but I persisted through the unknown. 3 months, no sales. After that, boom, every single deal, close. And I was one of the biggest guys, one of the best guys in door-to-door sales for many years. In fact, I ran parts of the business, parts like taking vans of people out. That was door-to-door sales. Later on, I ended up living in India, and I became good at call center. There was a learning curve to that because I had taken the sales, I had a shorter curve. So maybe it was a few weeks learning curve, or let's call it the unknown suffering period. From the idea, I want to be in telemarketing now from door-to-door sales, to becoming the decision like, yeah, I'm killing it. But the easy one was when I got into real estate later on. So first 6 months in real estate, I had the idea I wanted to be in real estate. There was an unknown suffering period for 6 months. where the decision to still be in real estate was like unknown to me. And I didn't make a single deal for 6 months, but I kept going every single day. And eventually after 6 months, my 7th month, I made tons of money. The next 6 months, I made several $100,000 from making zero. So, why am I saying this? I want you to understand how important making a decision, creating a decision is. I want you to be able to recognize, do you have that ability? And if you don't, can you perfect it? Can you get better at trusting your gut instinct and making right decisions, which I've talked about before, gut instinct. I have another, session on gut instincts. Very important. So making a decision, though, is a really important attribute, and understanding the suffering for a leader. So if you're a leader, if you're the 1% leaders out there, great. Understand how important it is, creating a decision, making a decision, understand the suffering period and the unknown before you'll get to some sort of decisive decision. Now, remember, I wanted you to understand masculine and feminine traits. Sometimes a decisive, logical person is more masculine. The imaginative, creative side of the feminine might be in the creative, imagination the whole time and not making any decisions, or like you to be creative for them. So when you understand how important this is, when you can recognize that people are decision makers, then you're going to say, well, hey, listen, am I a decision maker? Would I like to be better at making decisions? I'll perfect my gut instinct. What about this person? Are they a decision maker? Okay, cool. That will then allow you to put them in the right area for your business, for your personal life, and understanding that is a huge power. Now, the last thing I want to cover is, how do you test, are people decision makers? How do you test yourself? The easy test is going to a restaurant. Can they make a decision? What would you like to eat? If they're waffling, oh, this is about, I don't know what I want, I don't know, can you choose for me? Okay, that's fine. You know what they're like. You know what they like. Accept that. Now, if they can't make a decision, you say, you know what? What do you feel like? Okay, I feel like, I don't know, I'm not that hungry. Okay, so now you've narrowed it down. Now, if they can get to a decision after that point, maybe they're somewhat of a decision maker, but half not, right? So you need to identify, are they decision makers or are they not? The menu is an easy one. When you go to someone to dinner, do they choose what they want easily or not? Now, another way of testing it is testing to ask them on previous instances, hey, did you have any big decisions you made this month, right? What did you do for this weekend? Oh, how did you make that decision? So you want to ask them a decision that they've already made and how they came to make that decision, why they made it, okay? Was there a time, oh, this is another good thing as well, doubt. Another big thing as well as with people is if, in the past, they changed their mind. So was there a decision you made, like sometimes people may have bought something and taken it back, and oh man, I used to be so indecisive. I would literally get Amazon stuff, then I would order it, and I would have two options at the end. Oh no, which one should I go for? This one. And then I became so confused, I would overthink it. And then I would be like, oh, I want that one. I would order it out from Amazon and get it back. I'm like, oh, I don't know. Send it back. I'd get the other one, and I'm like, oh, I don't know, maybe I should. And I was in this loop. Until I perfected my gut instinct, it was like insane. I bought a TV, but this big TV, I couldn't even decide, oh man, I wanted this size. Oh, actually, I wanted that brand. Oh, now I bought this one. I don't know, it looks pretty good, but the size of the bed. I Used to be so indecisive. I bought a bed. Instead of getting a king size bed, which is what I wanted, it's like, maybe I should get a California king. Oh, maybe I want a king actually. Now the California king's a bit longer. The king's a bit wider. I don't know. I bought the California king. It came out, super expensive bed, the most expensive bed I've ever bought. And I'm like, damn, I should have got king. What the fuck? Spending months researching, deciding, and then finally going testing all these beds. And I'm like, yeah, I really should have just got king. I thought my feet would fit. I thought my feet would be over the edge. So, yes, decision making is super important for everything. Most importantly, it's important for your immune system, for your energy. If I'm not putting things to bed, making decisions, some part of my energy or my thought is still on that. Even if it comes back as a reminder later on, gotta make a decision. That is consuming energy, and our most important asset or most important thing, asset, is energy. Most important resource. We're batteries, we're energy. So if I'm giving that any kind of energy, like having a screen open on your iPhone without swiping up, it's using energy. Get good at making decisions. Find out if you're already good. If you're not good, perfect your gut instinct and making decisions quickly. Not quickly. I don't use that word. Just make the fucking decision. Identify other people. Here's some tests. Are they good at choosing a menu? Are you good at choosing a menu? Buying stuff on here, this and that, all these kind of things. Changing your mind. I used to do all this stuff. Oh my gosh, so funny. I went to dinner with my friend. Very, 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 very successful guy. Huge house in LA. Tons of cars. Very happy all the time. I went out for dinner with him on the weekend. I was like, yep, want this. I got the mixed platter, came out on this grill thing with like steaming or whatever it is, the hot plate. But now that I think about it, I used to be so indecisive. He made a decision, he wanted that. Other person made a decision, we ordered, boom, easy. So get good at making decisions, recognize whether you can or not, recognize whether other people can make decisions. You can do some tests, and the last test is, like, what are you doing this weekend? What movie do you want to see? All those kind of things. I hope this shined some light on how important it is to make decisions, especially as leaders, especially as people that want to remove any sort of attention or drain of their battery source on stuff that they've already discussed. Understand that it's literally creating life, creating a decision, creating a pathway, choosing one option and cutting off the rest. Yes, and understand that it gives you clarity, and sometimes when you're starting a business, there's that unknown suffering period. So I really hope this helps you out, and if anyone that you know is out there that's like literally not making decisions, or you think they're having trouble, not decisive, send them this video. Hopefully it helps them understand how important it is to understand whether they do make decisions or not, to recognize areas that they're, potentially not making decisions in. Restaurants, picking stuff off Amazon, where am I going, what movie, all these things. And then send them my other video that teaches you how to perfect your gut instinct, to utilize your 5 senses, to be able to recognize what is important to you, what's good for you, recognize certain coincidences and patterns that happen, and your gut instinct will just help you make quick decisions. Thanks, guys.